All right, gang. The 2025 NHL Draft is this coming weekend. It is being held in a decentralized manner this year. The home hub of everything is Los Angeles. They're going to be hosting the top 100 prospects and a few representatives from the NHL clubs. But for the most part, hockey ops folks from all the teams will be at their home bases. They did not like the amount of travel they had to do in a short period of time the last few years. And it does sound like they are all kind of feeling a little bit of FOMO from missing out on the fun of getting everyone together like they traditionally do for the draft. So this might be a one and done decentralized draft. We'll see. Either way, we're going to see a lot of moving. We're going to see a lot of picks. We're going to see potentially a lot of trades. There's going to be a lot of stuff. And one of the things that folks have asked me about in the comments and on social media is, Ryan, who do you think the Flames are going to take? And the short answer is, I don't know. I'm not a mind reader. But we do have a decent idea of roughly how teams and different ratings agencies, public ratings agencies, folks like FC Hockey, Hockey News, and so on, who watch a lot of hockey, we have an idea of sort of how those folks, educated folks, think of this year's draft class. And so based on what's out there, all the public rankings, we can make an educated guess on kind of sort of what's going to be available at the various draft slots. And based on what we think we know about what the Calgary Flames need, we can make some educated guesses as to roughly what kind of players we would pick and what kind of players we think they might pick at the different draft slots. So this will be a quick video. I'll go through the Flames' first few picks. The last 3 rounds, I'm not going to bother guessing because it's the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds. I don't know. I'll just be flat out. I'd be guessing. And, I'm guessing throughout this video, but I think my guesses earlier are much more educated than my guesses would be later. So take all this with a grain of salt. I will say that I create every year an aggregate consensus list based on 11 public draft rankings. I'll link the draft rankings in the video description, and most of those are just for the first round. But there's 4 draft rankings that I've used for basically educating my guesses after the first round. I used from Flow Hockey, Chris Peters' rankings, from the Hockey News, Ryan Kennedy's rankings, obviously from TSN, Bob McKenzie. Everyone uses Bob's list, and from Daily Faceoff, Stephen Ellis. So those 4 guys, I really keyed on their lists after the first round. So thank you, gentlemen, for all the hard work you did. You're making, if any of these picks are anywhere close, you're making me look very good. And if they're wrong, it's wrong because I'm bad at guessing. And with that, let's dive in. All right, let's start with the first pick the Flames have. First round, 18th overall. This is the selection they received from the New Jersey Devils in the Jacob Markstrom trade. As has been documented pretty extensively, the general expectation is the Flames will take a center with their first pick. Probably. In the event that somebody crazy good that is slotted above this general area falls to them, I don't think they're going to avoid taking somebody really good. But all things being equal, they probably go for a center here. And in this slot, there's 4 centers that I think probably fit their needs the most. Those 4 centers are, in no particular order, from the Seattle Thunderbirds, Braden Coots; from the Victoria Royals, Cole Rezhny; from the Calgary Hitmen, Ben Kindle; and from the Arizona State Sun Devils, Cullen Potter. These guys all play center. For the most part, a couple of these guys don't play only center. Some guys are bouncing to and from the wing here and there. But for the most part, these guys are all centers with pretty decent face-off numbers and or high offensive ceiling and or an attribute or two that sort of pushes them to the top of the rankings here. And so, yeah, I think if I'm the Flames, if one of these 4 guys ends up being my selection at 18, I'm probably pretty happy with that. So that's what I got at 18. Let's move along. On to 32nd overall. 32nd overall, this pick the Flames acquired from Florida in the Matthew Tkachuk trade 3 years ago. That trade is finally done. Again, I think the Flames probably go center here. Again, unless someone above that's crazy good, that's really highly rated, falls to them down this slot, I think, again, they probably go for another center. And honestly, if someone crazy good falls to them at 18, who's not a center, they're definitely taking a center here. So I'd expect at least one of the first two picks they make, if not both, to be a center. Centers I like at this slot. There's a Swedish center, Milton Gastrin, who played at Modo. Jack Nesbitt, who played at Windsor this year. Eric Nilsson from Djurgården. If the name's familiar, Eric Nilsson's dad is Marcus Nilsson, who played on the 2004 Flames team that went to the Stanley Cup Final. Cole McKinney is a center from the U.S. National Development Program who's pretty highly regarded. And Jacob Ice Wozniak is an Australian-born player who grew up in Sweden. He was born in Australia, moved to Sweden, and he's playing with Luleå. He's been having a really good year, especially the second half of his year. So I like those five guys. They might not be as highly regarded as the four guys I had listed at 18, but again, you're looking for guys that can maybe not have the high-end ceiling, the high-end offensive potential of the other four guys. But these are four guys that these are five guys who are all considered pretty well-rounded. And if you're trying to find players in the late first round, you're looking for guys that don't have a lot of holes in their game, and these five guys seem to fit that bill pretty well. 54th overall, this is their second-round pick. They got this pick. It's Colorado's pick that they got from Washington in the Andrew Mangiapane trade. Colorado had previously traded it to Washington. At this point, you're starting to get a little bit thinner the draft, and from our perspective, we're guessing a bit more. Again, try to do educated guesses, but there's names that amongst this group that could be gone that we'll mention, but some of these guys will probably still be around. At this point, you're probably still, if you're the Flames, looking for centers or forwards to flesh out your reserve list. They've gone really heavy on defensemen the last few years. If you look at some of the most intriguing names in their prospect base the last couple years, especially Brustevich, Perek, Muse, those kind of guys, they're all defensemen, and so you still probably want to grab some forwards with some ceiling. And so you might not be getting guys who are as well rounded, guys who these guys might have some warts and some holes in their game, but they're also guys that these are the guys that could pop. And this is when you start to take educated swings at guys that could fit the bill. So here are the six that I have carefully chosen. Swedish winger Eddie Genborg from Linkoping, high school quarterback / forward from Medina High School in Minnesota, Mason West. Another Swede center from Djurgården's Theo Stockselius. Niagara center Ethan Cesada. Red Deer center Matthew Gard, and Russian winger Danil Prokhorov. Again, some of these guys are more projects, but they're all guys that you look at and you go, okay, I can kind of see where they want those guys with ceiling, guys with high skill potential. Maybe they won't be, as well-rounded as 200-foot players as some of the earlier players, but at this point, you're looking for value. And last but not least, their third rounder. This is the first pick that the Flames have that is actually their original pick. It's the 80th overall pick. And at this point, 80th overall, it's the high-end guys might be all gone, and you're still looking at projects. But again, you're looking at projects with ceiling, and there's still a lot of players here with a lot of potential. I'm going to cherry pick four. From the Calgary Hitmen, Brandon Gorzinski. He's a center. From Skellefteå in Sweden, winger Victor Klingsell, WHL winger Nathan Bem, and Kingston center Tyler Hopkins. Again, you're looking for guys that can provide you some depth, provide you some help, and potentially guys with some ceiling. And it's sort of a mix of Klingsell is a guy who's a little bit smaller, but people think that maybe his skill set can translate, and then Gorzinski's a big dude who is really good for the Hitmen this year. Really high-end complimentary player. Did a lot of really good things. And, if you look at his game, a lot of folks think that his play style could translate to higher levels because he's been able to play with highly skilled players and really help them excel. So, these are the types of gambles you make at this point. And then they have three picks after this. 5th round, 144th, 6th round, 176th, and 7th round, 208th. I ain't going to guess here because I just be pulling names out of thin air, and the best way to look foolish is not just guessing them with draft picks, but guessing with late round draft picks. So, we'll see. That's all I got for this video. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you really like this video, please click the subscribe button. Thank you so much for everybody who's been watching all my draft videos. I really appreciate it. And it's really been cool to sort of see the subscriber count grow. And, keep those suggestions coming for videos you'd like to see in the off season. I've already seen some comments suggesting some videos, some really cool ideas that I'm going to look into over the next couple of weeks and months. I'll probably take a couple weeks off after free agency just to refresh, and then later in July we'll get into some of those ideas. But I'm really excited. So thank you very much for watching. Keep the suggestions coming, and I'll see you next time.